Hey Planeswalkers, this is Eric from Bane Alley Magic, bringing you another deck tech. But today we're going into the world of Modern. It turns out I do love Modern a lot, and I play Modern a lot. I just haven't usually been very great at Modern, so I kind of shy away from making the Modern videos. But this deck I'm really excited about, and I think it's going to do really great things. I've been playing Modern for a long time. The issue with Modern is that it's just going through a phase right now where there are just so many really busted modern decks, what are called degenerate modern decks, that just kind of force through a win on turn 2 or 3. But I think the important thing to remember is that you can still have a lot of fun, and it's not like every single person is playing that deck. People are testing out a lot of decks. People are trying to make decks to beat those decks. It's just, remember, if you're going into competitive, you go to a tournament, odds are people are going to be playing some really busted stuff. So Modern, certainly still really fun with friends, and it's still even fun at the tournaments, but when you go into the tournament, you got to remember you're playing with the big boys, and they come out with all the best cards they got, and that's how Modern goes. Sometimes it's a turn 2 win, turn 3 win, but if you sideboard correctly, you can prevent that. And so this deck I call Divine Assembly because it is mostly about these two cards, Divine Visitation and Thopter Assembly. So Divine Visitation is an enchantment for 3 generic and 2 white that says if one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead. And Thopter Assembly says it's 6 generic for a 5/5 flying Thopter, artifact creature, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, return Thopter Assembly to its owner's hand and create 5/1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. So the kind of cool combo here is the synergy is that if you cast Divine Visitation on turn 5, or hopefully with this deck, turn 4 or 3, and then you cast Thopter Assembly on the next turn, at the beginning of your next upkeep, Thopter Assembly is going to see there's no other Thopters out, and then it's going to make 5 what we think are going to be colorless Thopters, but they're going to be 5/4/4 angel creature tokens with flying, and that's already just 20 power out on the board right there that you get out right away. That is just huge. And then Thopter Assembly goes back to your hand, and you get to do it all over again, pretty much over and over again. That's pretty sweet. So this deck is a token deck, and it's, not just around these 2 cards, but this is kind of the most powerful synergy that we get with the deck. But the rest of the deck is kind of built mostly around Divine Visitation and trying to make tokens, get tons of tokens, and overwhelm our opponent. The token strategy is really great because it's a fair strategy. It's not like you're really cheating the game, but it's also, you're going really wide. It's hard for your opponents to block. And even when your opponent's board wipe, you don't really care so much because it's really easy to rebuild your board again, and that is really huge. Removal is a big part of the game, and when you take away your opponent's when you take away the effectiveness of your opponent's removal, it really hurts them. They feel really bad whenever they have to spend a removal spell on a token. So Divine Visitation and Thopter Assembly make these tokens. Divine Visitation, a 4/4 flying vigilance angel, is absolutely huge, especially as a replacement for literally any other token we can make, and we're going to be making tons of tokens in this deck, but we really want to ramp quickly into Divine Visitation and Thopter Assembly so that we can turn those tokens into angels as quickly as possible. Of course, just having 5 Thopters isn't a bad deal either, so all by itself Thopter Assembly is a pretty great bomb to have. So next we got our ramp package: 4 Avacyn's Pilgrim, 4 Birds of Paradise, and 4 Awakening Zone. So if you don't know Awakening Zone, that's an enchantment for 2 generic and a green, and at the beginning of your upkeep you make a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token that has sacrificed this creature to add a colorless mana to your mana pool. So it's both ramping and making creature tokens every single turn, and eventually, if we get Divine Visitation out, those creature tokens are going to be 4/4 flying angels. Of course, Avacyn's Pilgrim is going to help us make white, Birds of Paradise is going to help us make green. We also are running a little bit of black in the deck. So here's the spawn that the Awakening Zone makes. Next, we got our other token making spells. So 4 Lingering Souls, 4 Secure the Wastes, and 4 March of the Multitudes. Lingering Souls is sorcery speed, but it is one of the most powerful token creating spells in the modern format, especially since those tokens are flying. And hopefully, eventually, when we flash this back, we'll be able to turn those into flying Vigilance Angels. Same thing with Secure the Waste, but at instant speed, Secure the Waste is just ridiculous and huge. You cast it on your opponent's end step, or you cast it in response to them attacking, and you can make tons of tokens. Surprised this card doesn't appear a lot more in Modern. And next we got another new card, March of the Multitudes, 2 of X, green, and white for a Convoke spell. So your creatures can help you cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1, and that's great in a token strategy because we're hopefully going to have tons of creatures out ready to go. Even those Eldrazi, tokens are going to help us cast March of the Multitudes and make more 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. So when you have a board that's just full of spirits, full of warriors, full of soldiers, I mean, yeah, sure, they're all 1/1s, but man, your opponent is going to be sweating, and you're going to be able to block pretty much anything they send. And when they have to spend their board wipe to get rid of a bunch of tokens, they feel horrible about life. So next we got our removal package, 4 Path to Exile, and 4 Fungal Infection. So you can probably know Path to Exile. Fungal Infection is a newer card, and it says target creature gets -1/-1 till the end of the turn, and you get to create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. The important thing here is this is instant speed, so you can respond with them attacking with the 2/2, and you give that 2/2 -1/-1, and you block with your 1/1 green sapling creature token, and you're effectively giving that creature -2/-2, or you're dealing 2 damage to that creature, or a combination of -1 and dealing 1 damage to that creature. So effectively, this is similar to a spell that gives a creature -2/-2, but the important thing here is that it's giving us a sapling creature token. So eventually, we could be casting this and blocking with a 4/4 Vigilance Flying Angel, because again, we have 4 Divine Visitations in the deck. Yeah, pretty sweet. Next, we got our lands. 5 forests, 2 swamps, 5 plains. Then we got 2 Overgrown Tomb, 2 Temple Garden, 2 Godless Shrine, and 4 Windswept Heath. So, we got the fetches, we got the shocks, we got the basics. Maybe a Boseiju who shelters all wouldn't be a bad choice, just a 1 of maybe. And then we got the sideboard. I just kind of, I threw this sideboard together really quick, but I do think it's kind of, these cards are great catch-alls. Leyline of Sanctity is going to protect you from burn. It's going to protect you from sacrificing your creatures, which, you don't really have to worry about much with a token deck, but it's also going to protect you from making your opponents targeting you to discard your cards. Next we got Leyline of the Void, which some of you are going to say Rest in Peace is better, but Rest in Peace is going to ruin our Lingering Souls plan. So Leyline of the Void is better for us because that's going to only hurt our opponents, and it's going to basically completely destroy any graveyard strategy, which, if you don't know, graveyard strategies are dominant right now in Modern. I mean, we got, Phoenix is coming back from the graveyard with Hollow One. We got zombies coming back from the graveyard. We got Vengevine coming back from the graveyard. We got Codeltha Rebirth, which all depends on the graveyard, so having graveyard hate is huge. And if you can get Leyline of the Void in your opening hand, I mean, the graveyard deck is basically done. Stony Silence to help with artifacts, and we got 3 Inquisition of Kozilek to help out, just removing whatever threats an opponent has in their hand, which in the Modern format, pretty much everything is converted mana cost 3 or less. And that is it. Sideboard was pretty hastily made, so let me know what you think could go into the sideboard. Let me know what you think about the deck, even the numbers of cards. I would love to hear suggestions because I think this is a really great idea. And what else would you do with Divine Assembly? Divine Visitation. What kind of deck would you make out of that? Sorry, this slide is supposed to say Divine Assembly. But talking about Divine Visitation, the card, itself. What kind of decks would you make out of that? I decided to make the deck Divine Assembly, and I think it's pretty awesome. So let me know what you think. Alright guys, until next time, this is Eric signing off. Take care, take it easy.